of your car at Kmart. Our automotive service centers care.
Your Kmart Automotive Center is your sound shop, too. Save $30 on this AM/FM push-button radio with 8-track or cassette tape player. On sale for $118.88. Match it with a pair of great-sounding 5-inch or 6x9 three-way speakers. Just $39.88 a pair. At Kmart Automotive Centers across the U.S., where quality car products are Kmart priced.
Next Saturday, be with us for the first installment of the Battle of the NFL Cheerleaders on the CBS Sports Spectacular. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Frank Lieber with Roman Gabriel back at Bloomington, Minnesota. Vikings with a 1st and 10 at the Buccaneer 43 with 1:59 left to play in the first half. Tommy Kramer, who's had an outstanding afternoon. Back to throw it again. He's been hot. He finds Brown, and Brown is inside the 40 and down to the 36.
Boy, it's difficult to stop a passing attack like the Vikings have because they go to the backs and the receivers, well balanced there. So who are you going to try to stop? You got to give one or the other.
Of course, Kramer worked it to perfection in the waning moments of last weekend's game against the Chicago Bears in driving the Vikings to their victory. Timeout called here, and we'll be back in just 1 minute.
October 25th, 1854. The British Light Brigade is ordered to attack from the flanks, but muddled orders result in a frontal attack, wiping out half the brigade. Someone was not listening. July 2nd, 1863. Confederate General Longstreet misinterprets General Lee's orders to attack, advancing 3 hours too late. A listening error that may have altered the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. The fact is, whether it be in battle, government, or industry, not knowing how to listen has always been one of man's greatest problems. And we at Sperry feel it's high time we recognized it, that we set up listening programs in our schools and businesses. And lest we forget how critical a problem it is, all we need do is look to the night of April 14th, 1912, when the crew of the Titanic was urgently warned of ice, but chose not to listen. Sperry, we understand how important it is to listen.
One of the pretty Viking cheerleaders looking on. Brilliant, sunshiny, beautiful afternoon for football. Temperature in the 60s, very little breeze. Couldn't ask for better weather.
Tampa expecting the Vikings to go on top. They've got 46 Reese back in and Cecil Johnson out of the ball game. 5 backs in.
2nd and 3. Keep in mind the Vikings have just 1 timeout left. Brown gets the call and drives forward to the 33-yard line. 1 timeout left for Minnesota. They're not going to use it here. They've called 2 plays in the huddle, and they're ready to go again. Less than 1.5 minutes to go. That was a first down. They're going to have to wait a minute to get the chain set. Now they do. Kramer motioning for somebody to go long. Instead goes to Ricky Young, and Young to the 20. There's another first down.
Boy, Frank, there's the value of an experienced running back. Young made his first cut. He was behind the linebacker. Then he worked himself into the hole there.
Kramer really working that 2-minute offense to perfection here. 1st and 10 from the 20. 1:03 left. Again, he goes to Young. Did he catch it or did he trap it?
Well, the ball come rolling out. Well, I guess they gave him a completion.
They're ruling it a completion. Clock continues to roll. Less than 50 seconds to go. 2nd and 5. Vikings at the Tampa Bay 15-yard line. Kramer rolling to his right, fires down at the 2, incomplete. Sammy White, the intended receiver. Viking fans thought he had been interfered with by Curtis Jordan, number 25.
Could have been called very easily.
That stops the clock. 37 seconds.
Kramer with good time, really doesn't have to scramble out. There's White. Oh, that was a good call. Jordan was there about the same time the ball was, just played through the receiver.
3rd down, 5 needed for the first down. Kramer's got to start thinking of the first down now. Doesn't get it here, they may have to settle for the field goal.
One thing he doesn't want to do, Frank, is take a sack here. He doesn't want to get him out of field goal range.
Vikings have the 1 timeout left. Rashad goes to the left side. Sammy White to the right. Chuck Foreman has come into the Minnesota backfield. Kramer pumps it once, and he's going to run it. He'll take it to the 9-yard line. They'll have to call time now and go for the field goal. Well, let's see. Did he get the first?
I think so.
Very close for the first down. And Minnesota will use that last timeout to stop the clock with 25 seconds to go. They'll have a first down, goal to go from the 9.
With JVC's new programmable video recorder, JVC gives you its clearest, most distortion-free picture ever. Relive your favorite shows in distortion-free slow motion, stop action, or double speed. All with remote control. Or record up to 6 continuous hours. And only JVC's VidStar lets you plug in a camera directly. That's why, with JVC's new VidStar, there's always a good show on TV.
At American, people are the difference. Last year, over 200,000 people applied here at the industry's first flight attendant college.
And Vicki Getz is one of the few we accepted. We taught her to make your flight comfortable, reliable, and enjoyable. But we didn't have to teach her to be nice. We're American Airlines, and finding people like Vicki is one of the things we do best.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
There's the time left to play in the first half. I would think now if he goes to the end zone every time, Kramer would have a chance to get 3 plays off here, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think so. They're close enough. He can get the ball in the end zone 3 times without any problem. Again, though, he's got to be careful. No interception. Don't take a sack.
Vikings do not have a timeout left. Something else you notice in this 2-minute warning, Bud Grant has not been calling the plays like he does the rest of the game, and that's a big advantage for Kramer, isn't it?
I think so, Frank. A lot of the coaches that call the plays, they call it right through the 2-minute drill, and you lose some playing time, whereas the Vikings have run about 8 plays now within less than a minute and a half.
First down, goal to go. Minnesota at the Tampa Bay 9-yard line. Score tied at 3. 25 seconds left to play in the half. Foreman is the only running back. Bob Tucker out of bounds at the 2. 20 seconds to go. The tight end, Bob Tucker, who, of course, used to be one of Francis Tarkenton's favorite receivers.
Well, here they put Ricky Young out on the flank. They isolate Tucker on the linebacker here. Cecil Johnson, 56. Vikings had the right play called. Reese had just come out of the game. They put Johnson back in.
Now what do you do? Can you afford to call a running play here with no timeouts left in 20 seconds?
I think you come with some type of rollout, a run or pass situation, right, like Tarkenton would do. Roll out right or left, looking for the tight end or the back, or run it in.
Kramer gonna throw it. He's got a man wide open. Stu Boyd trots into the end zone for the touchdown.
Very seldom do you see that kind of rollout action. He rolled to his left. Boyd at tight end on the left side hesitated, went to the corner. Everybody came left with Kramer, or came to Kramer's right. Here we go. There's Boyd on the left side blocking into his man. Kramer rolling right, comes back to Boyd.
That is some use of the 2-minute period by Tommy Kramer, the Minnesota quarterback. They got the ball with 1:54 left to play in the half and marched smartly down the field. Dan Meyer adds the extra point, and the Minnesota Vikings lead for the first time in the football game. 8 plays, 43 yards, and a 2-yard touchdown from Tommy Kramer to Stu Boyd. Minnesota 10, Tampa Bay 3.
Mr. and Mrs. Bauman, I suppose you bought your Ford Granada for its classic looks, like your Mercedes.
But not actually. We bought it for its classic mileage and how far it goes between fill-ups.
Granada has the numbers we need today.
Well, then I suppose its comfort and luxury impressed you.
To be honest, we were more impressed with Granada's traditional high resale value.
And its price.
Then you really didn't care that your Granada looked like your Mercedes?
Well, now, wait a minute. I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, no, neither would I.
For
Granada
all the
looks
right
great.
reasons, it's a modern American classic, the 1980 Granada.
You're in the auto supply business? I'm in the auto supply business. You're in construction? I'm in construction. Chemicals? Me too. See, I'm really your branch office. Wherever your business travels take you, I'm already there. So you can confirm appointments, handle orders, check on shipping, keep everybody happy. Oh, excuse me. So remember, Wherever you need a branch office, I'm your branch office. Use me.
Picture book scoring drive inside the 2-minute period by the Minnesota Vikings. Catapults them to the lead for the first time, 10-3. Dan Meyer ready to kick off. Ragsdale is deep. Kickoff is short, bounces at the 10, picked up and fumbled out of bounds by Ragsdale at the 7-yard line. Hit him in the chest and bounded out of bounds directly in front of him.
Big break by the Vikings kickoff coverage team.
Interesting note on possession time here in the second period. The Vikings have had the ball 12 minutes and 26 seconds. Tampa Bay has had the ball 2 minutes 19 seconds.
Now, if you're going to take the ball that long, generally you're going to put points on the board, and the Vikings did.
I'd imagine at this point Tampa Bay would be content to just run it out and regroup, as they say.
You know, with the way that guy can throw the football, you might take a shot and just let him throw it 70 yards downfield. But I doubt if they'll do that.
Always thinking like a quarterback, huh? Never like the coach. Williams decides to just sit on it, under orders, no doubt, from head coach John McKay, and that'll do it. Clock ticking away the final 5 seconds of the first half of play. Vikings came alive after that goal line stand when it looked like Tampa was going to go ahead 10-0. They held him down there on the 1-yard line and then drove it out there and drove it well, 89 yards en route to a field goal. And then, of course, the fine run back from Edwards setting up that 2-minute drill. And Kramer, despite the fact he hasn't been around that much, shows the poise of a veteran out there.
He sure does. Nobody could have run that 2-minute drill any better than him. Here's the touchdown, a rollout right. Stu Voigt blocking into the left side, slips out into the flat, nobody on him. There it is.
The go-ahead touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings, who lead it at halftime 10-3. We'll be back shortly.
I'm going to show you something really tough. Look at this Ford van. Ford's forward engine design gives you easy move-around room inside. And for 1980, improved gas mileage, too. Ford's the only van with twin I-beam suspension. And Ford's van is tough body-on-frame construction. And can these Fords carry a load? This E350 carries over 5,000 pounds of payload. Offense and defense, get in.
Okay, guys, play ball.
Yeah!
Ford vans, built Ford tough.
Here's to good friends.
A toast. Here's to a vanishing breed. Bill Evans, bachelor. The end of a perfectly good ladies' man. To Bill Evans, a free man. 13 more hours.
If you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brow.
Speech! 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 Come on, you guys. You're beautiful.
Time activities continuing here on this beautiful Indian summer afternoon in Bloomington, Minnesota, as the Minnesota Vikings, in a must-win situation, lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their NFC Central Division battle. Minnesota 10, Tampa Bay 3. Back with more in just a moment.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealers, who bring you the better idea cars and trucks for the 80s. Light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Trinitron, with a one-gun, one-lens system. And it's from Sony, the one and only.
Now, Billy, you know trucks.
Yep.
And we come to this Ford test track to see if they've been doing the incredible things they've been bragging about.
Yep.
How about this gas-saving 6-cylinder engine they're putting in the Bronco this year? Incredible.
It's frisky, all right.
And these new aerodynamic designs they've been shouting incredible about.
Well, them configurations do help to reduce wind resistance and drag.
Billy, what we gotta know is, can these trucks really take it?
Sweetness, I'm gonna find that out right now. Don't mind me.
Ford Motor Company has redesigned its entire line of light trucks to save gas, but we haven't stopped building them tough. If you could test one the way we do, you'd say incredible.
Is she tough, Billy?
He's incredible!
Would you adopt a child who is handicapped? It takes a lot of patience, a lot of guts. I'm Steve Wilson of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'd like for you to meet some people who are doing something pretty remarkable, finding permanent homes for handicapped children. It's a United Way agency, and they place kids that other adoption agencies just can't find homes for. A lot of parents who have already adopted a child with special needs also volunteer to come in and talk with the parents who are considering adoption. It made me think, what would I do in their place? These kids and their parents, they're really amazing. This is a unique service here in the Tampa Bay area, but it's typical of the way the United Way works. Thanks to them, and thanks to you. It works for all of us. The United Way.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. Back once again at Bloomington, Minnesota. Our halftime score, Minnesota 10, Tampa Bay 3. I'm Frank Lieber along with Roman Gabriel. We're just sitting here checking the first half statistics. A couple of things really jump out at you. The third down efficiency on the part of Minnesota when you consider that Tampa Bay has the best third down defense coming into this game in the NFL.
Evidently, Frank, Minnesota worked on that this week in practice. They're 6 out of 8 for 75% efficiency. That's not bad.
Not bad at all. You look at Kramer's passing statistics in the first half. 13 out of 15. That's pretty close to perfect. And nobody's perfect, right?
That's doggone good because Tampa Bay's only been giving up 132 yards a game passing, and Kramer has 13 out of 15, which is controlling the ball real well. No mistakes.
The Bucs have rushed the ball for only 28 yards in the first half, and you say, well, that's low, certainly compared to what they have been doing, but the fact remains that particularly in the second period, they didn't have the ball, so you can't rush with it if you don't have it.
That's right, and they changed up a little. They came out throwing. I think they got 120 yards passing, so that's quite a change up for the Bucs compared to what they've done in the past games.
Well, what do you look for? We saw a little bit of the feeling out process here, I think, in the first half of play. You look for the thing to maybe explode here?
Well, you sort of got that feeling with the Vikings with the great goal line stand, then moving the ball downfield, getting the touchdown in the 2-minute drill. It's just a matter of time because you can see that it seems that Tampa can throw well, which they did, but they didn't take advantage of the mistakes. I look for more scores.
There's a look at the halftime statistics, which bear out some of the things that we've been talking about. But possession time, particularly in the second period, belonged to Minnesota. If it stays like it is and you look back on it, you'd almost have to go to the goal line stand as kind of a turning point really in the ball game.
Yeah, and a couple of plays there that we talked about, Tampa might have want to have those calls back and have gone for what we could see from up here, which is very easy to see. I can understand, but yet the quarterback sneak loomed awful large at that time.
They moved the ball so smartly in that particular drive, and then when they got down on the 1-yard line, it seemed to be almost confusion at one point there, didn't it to you?
It sure did, and you always go into a ball game knowing that the Vikings are tough on a goal line situation, so you know that Tampa had to be prepared. It did look like confusion, though.
There's a comparison of the statistics of the two quarterbacks. Williams certainly hasn't had a bad first half of play at all. He's thrown the ball very well, too.
Yeah, he's over 38%, which has been his average up to this point. So he's got some good time to throw the ball, and maybe we'll see Tampa continue to move the ball that way. They just have to put it in the end zone.
Both teams on the field prior to the start of the second half. The Buccaneers in white, the Vikings in purple. Keep in mind, Minnesota wins. They're just one game out of the NFC Central Division lead. If they lose, why, the Buccaneers would be 3 games in front with 7 games to play, and certainly would have taken a large step on their way to their first playoff appearance ever.
You know, something we talked about earlier, Frank, the Vikings trying to run the football, but both games Tampa's lost have been the teams that ran against them. The Giants and New Orleans, both teams ran well against them.
O'Donohue kicking off. Edwards, the deep man, looking right into the sun, fields it at the goal line, bobbled it for a moment out to the 10, 15, 20. Hit shy of the 25-yard line and dropped at that point.
They had Ranieri in there trying to lay a block on the kickoff team. I wonder how he likes that.
First and 10 rather, from the 24-yard line. Vikings of the football. Ted Brown very active in that first half, rushed for 59 yards on 9 carries, averaging 6.5 yards per carry, and caught 4 passes for 31 yards. Brown 23, Young 34 behind Tommy Kramer. This is Brown. Caught behind the line of scrimmage and shoved out of bounds by David Lewis, number 57, the Tampa Bay linebacker.
Well, that's a play that Minnesota used earlier in the first half. They went around the right side and gained about 8. This time Tampa had it designed and went right for it.
4th period score now. Franco Harris has 2 touchdown runs in that game. One from 1 yard out, the other from 48 yards away. Pittsburgh leading at 14-3. And Roger Staubach is out of that game with a concussion. He's had that happen to him several times here, once in preseason this year, once late last year in the playoffs against Atlanta. So we'd assume that Danny White is in there. 2nd and 13, pass complete to Rashad at the 35, 40, 45, and out of bounds at the 49-yard line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ahmad Rashad has just set a Viking team record for wide receivers. 203 with his 3rd reception of the day.
Well, Frank, just a sharp curl pattern on the right side by Rashad. We'll watch Ricky Young come out of the backfield to take the underneath coverage away. Kramer right on the button, zings it in. Rashad, a good pattern, and then takes it back outside and breaks the tackle here by White.
Rashad had to be one of the all-time steals, I would think, of the NFL when the Vikings picked him up from Seattle in exchange for a 4th-round draft pick several years ago. Sammy White in motion. Pitch to Brown. Flag down as Brown run out of bounds at the 45-yard line. See what the marker was about.
Well, I think we got a block on Richard Wood, which was below the waist. Wood playing linebacker.
Tampa Bay was penalized only once in the first half. Minnesota set back 3 times because of infractions, but they all came at critical times, so it seemed to be. 10-yard walk-off moves it back to the 42 of Minnesota. Here's Jim Tunney.
Holding number 28 in the spot of the foul. Still 1st down.
Rashad call for the holding.
Well, it's hard to blame those receivers for coming in there holding on to somebody. They're not used to blocking big people.
That's true. Tampa Bay so far undefeated on the season against Central Division teams. They are 4-0 coming into this game. Ahmad Rashad stationing himself on the flank out to the right. Quick count play, and we get another flag as the give went to Ricky Young. Young jetted across the 45 out to the 48-yard line, picked up 6, but again looks like they're going to bring it back.
Well, shades of the first half. The Vikings made a couple of mistakes and continue to move. Now they come out and they make a couple of more mistakes. Wonder if they'll do the same thing.
Stu Boyd, who caught the touchdown pass, comes into the game with the play.
Illegal motion, number 61, 5 yards, still 1st down.
That's Wes Hamilton, number 61, the right guard for the Vikings. A little anxious there.
1st down. Vikings need 24 for the 1st down. The ball is at their 37-yard line.
Safety blitz.
They won't get that 24 back that way.
No.
No hole at all up the middle for Ted Brown, the rookie from North Carolina State.
Well, they had 33. Mark Cotney coming from the outside from his strong safety position.
New Orleans upset the Washington Redskins today. Final score 14-10.
New Orleans is on the move.
They're one of the surprise teams this year. Great offense.
Yeah, they're hanging in with the Rams, tied for that division lead.
That's a big win for them. 2nd and 22. Vikings from their 38. Kramer, big rush. Up into the pocket and hit, and I think he may have lost the ball. Vikings recovered, however. Wally Chambers, number 60, with an excellent pass rush. Vikings will retain possession, but a loss in the play back to the 34-yard line. See if he did lose it here when he was hit. Chambers coming in from the right of your screen as he tries to step up into the pocket.
Right there. Yep. Chamber knocks the ball out of his arm. Who's that on top of it?
It's like 67 for the Minnesota Vikings. Dennis Swilly. Minnesota's been super on third down. They've got a big one here. 3rd and 27. They go with Brown on the draw. He took this for 34 in the first half, and he almost broke it for a big one again. Stopped just short of midfield. Got about a dozen of those 27 yards back.
Curtis Jordan. Well, the Vikings, they get a good punt off, hold Tampa, then they've got good field position again. So that's not that's not a bad call in a situation like that, Frank.
Each team punted just once in the first half. Coleman for 40 yards. Scoops this one up off the ground. Bad snap and not a very good kick. Angling to the near sidelines, bounces at the 23 and takes a Tampa bounce and is quickly down by the Vikings at the 21-yard line.
Darrell Luce, acquisition from the Baltimore Colts. Bud Grant's had success in getting people off that draft wire.
Quite a few off the waiver list, and they've all helped the Minnesota Vikings. Timeout here in Bloomington. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
We put a car in a cold room at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 hours later, -20. 8 hours later, -30. And it still starts. The Die Hard, the battery that lives up to its name. Only at Sears.
George Wendt, whitewater expeditionist. You know what he does for excitement?
I collect stamps. For me, collecting U.S. commemoratives is a special kind of thrill. They honor our country's great people, important events, and natural beauties. Every stamp is a little piece of America. And stamp collecting is one adventure I can share with my son.
Start your collection with the Summer Olympic Block of 4 at your post office now.
How good a boxer is former Dallas Cowboy Ed Too Tall Jones? Be with us next Saturday when the CBS Sports Spectacular features the boxing debut of 6'9" Too Tall Jones. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Yes, but will she have that smile on her face in the middle of December when they're out here playing?
I think she'll have a coat and a hat on.
Don't forget Too Tall Jones against Yaki Manassas. Too Tall's first professional fight next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. 1st and 10, Buccaneers from their 21-yard line, and Williams comes out throwing. He going for Higgins, and Higgins was out of bounds. Came down with the ball out of bounds. Incomplete.
1 foot in. Got to have 2 feet in National Football League.
Isaac Higgins made some key receptions in the first half. See if we can see it here. He got one in.
There's the first one.
He got 1.5 in, looks like, huh?
Almost.
What do you think?
Nice shot, though. Good play.
2nd and 10.
You know, you get that feeling that Ricky Bell is going to explode any minute. He only had 14 yards in the first half, and he's a much better football player than that.
There's Ricky. Doug Williams passed for 311 yards the last time these two teams met. Nice hole up the middle for the fellow that you were talking about. Ricky Bell, former #1 draft pick out of USC. No, it wasn't Ricky Bell. It was Jerry Eckwood. I gave him the big buildup, and it's the other guy.
Well, Ricky Bell was leading the way.
Only one number off, right?
There's the slant to the right side. There's Bell leading the way. Let's see what he does here. Good blocking there on the right side.
He's shifty, isn't he?
He has good feet. Very good feet. There's Bell. Bell leading the way. Good shot in there. Who is that he's got? It's hard to tell who Bell went after.
Yeah, you think he took on one of the linebackers there and set him back for a moment. It's close enough for measurement. Not quite a first down, so it'll be 3rd down, less than a yard needed for the first down for the Buccaneers. Ball just over their 30-yard line. They trail by a score of 10-3. Straight ahead power as Bell gets the call. They didn't need much, and they picked up the first.
Now they go right over Greg Roberts and Dave Revis, the old timers of that offensive line. Both of them been in the league 6 years, and you call them old timers.
Bell is the number 5 rusher, and Eckwood is the number 8 rusher in the NFC coming into the ball game today. Together, they've combined for 1,144 yards. That's the best duo in the NFL.
Now you got Darrell Luce, 57, in for Fred McNeil now on the right side.
Luce, a former Baltimore Colt. Williams. Intended for Larry Mucker. We get a flag, a delayed flag at the 45-yard line. And the Vikings are unhappy about this one if it is a pass interference call against Minnesota, which it would have. Well, let's see. Personal foul, not pass interference. Let's see if we can see it.
Now Williams throws this ball a little high. He loses it, but he gets a shot right in the back, which hurts quite a bit. And there's a shot right in the back, 2 of them. Back pain.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 45, first down.
The call goes against the Minnesota Vikings' Tom Hannon for the hit that he put on Mucker, which the officials felt was unnecessary.
That's a difficult call here unless he put his head down. Yeah, well, he got him with the shoulder. If his head speared him, the rule says it's penalty, but he hit him with the shoulder.
1st and 10. Bucks from their 47. Hagen's the intended receiver at the Viking 45-yard line. Pretty good pass rush that time on Williams.
Good throw. I think the sun got him there, Frank. We were talking about the sun comes out of the end of the stadium there. And there's Williams looking back at the sun, too. I think that he lost that ball in the sunshine.
I believe we may have had a penalty marker on that play, too, and it looks like the Vikings may get some yardage back.
Holding, number 50, still first down.
Steve Wilson on the holding call for Tampa Bay, so the 2 clubs exchange penalties here. Bucks have it at their 37-yard line. They have a 1st and 20. Mucker has replaced Owens at a wide receiver. He's wide to the right. Hagen's wide to the left. The handoff, Eckwood trying to turn the corner and ripped out of bounds in front of the Viking bench at the 40-yard line by Tommy Hannon, number 45.
Well, in a situation like that, when you have 15, 20 yards for first down, you anticipate that extra defensive back. You run a sweep hoping to get him at linebacker, but the Vikings didn't make the change that time. They had their normal linebacking people in.
Tampa Bay has rushed for over 200 yards 4 times this season. Owens is back in there. He's split to the left. Higgins goes wide right. 2nd down, 16 from the Bucks 40. Way over the head of the intended receiver, Higgins. Higgins was spinning around like a top down around the 40-yard line, and I think Williams had a tough time figuring out which way he was going to go.
Higgins had a lot of people around him. He looked as though he was double covered. Williams throws the ball over top. Nobody intercepts. He doesn't get a sack.
3rd down, 17.
That's a luxury of having a Bell in your backfield. Even though he's not gaining a lot of yardage, he still gives you that threat of a pass and also the fake on the run for the play action. And Tampa Bay is trying to do that.
We get word from down below that McNeil, the Viking linebacker, has a sprained toe, and they're unsure as to whether or not he'll be able to return. 3rd and 17. Blitz is on, and there's a rarity. Doug Williams sacked by the Minnesota Vikings back at the 30-yard line. Mark Mullaney, number 77, came pouring through. So we told you, Williams entered today's game with a streak of 88 consecutive passes without being sacked. And we have one of the Vikings who was shaken up on the play. Looks like White.
James White. Well, they got the blitz coming here. Here comes Matt Blair. Blair coming from the right side. He's picked up. Mullaney beats his blocker. He really popped him pretty good there. That's number 6, the 6th sack for Mullaney this year. Williams doesn't have much time at all to do anything here. The blitz gets a one-on-one situation with Mullaney. He's there.
That'll set up the punting situation as James White, who succeeded Alan Page, a defensive tackle for the Vikings, walks off the field unassisted. Blanchard in to do the punting. He punted just one time in the first half. 31-yarder, which was counterpunched, 26. by Edwards. Edwards waiting at the 30. Not a very good punt again. Trying to get to the near sideline. Gets not quite to the 35, and we get a marker thrown. Fine, secure tackle by the Buccaneers that time. First man down was Tony Davis, number 27. We get a clip against Minnesota.
Yeah, the flags are starting to fly.
"15 yards walked off against the Vikings, who moved the ball back inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. Here's the referee, Jim Tunney.
Personal foul, clipping on the run back, number 75, first down.
Randy Holloway, second-year man out of Pittsburgh, one of the Vikings' top draft choices. 10 minutes, 23 seconds left to play in the third period of a game that has slowed down appreciably since the second half got underway. 10-3, Minnesota.
Armin and I just love to go camping in our Pinto wagon.
And so does our son Richard. Right, Dad. We camp in our Pinto wagon, too.
And so do our married daughters.
Pinto's great for taking the kids. And husbands, too. That makes 4 generations, then 4 Pinto wagons.
Introducing the 1980 Pinto wagon with the best gas mileage rating of any wagon built in America.
For camping, you need a Pinto wagon.
And someone who knows how to cook.
And I'm that someone. Right.
You survey where the land is wild and unforgiving, filling in empty places on maps that until now have been almost unknown. But now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find, Miller High Life.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Miller Beer.
60 Minutes follows the NFL on CBS, and there, believe it or not, is a church in Florida that believes that marijuana comes from God and that smoking pot is a holy ritual. If the court rules in their favor, it could affect marijuana laws everywhere. Watch 60 Minutes tonight following football on most of these stations, and no wisecracks about that.
There's going to be a lot of people going to that church.
I figured you'd say that. Kramer going long. Intended for Sammy White. Well defended at the 38-yard line by Jarris White, number 45.
Go ahead, Frank.
I was going to say that, I don't know if you knew it, but Sammy White and Doug Williams played college football together at Grambling.
That had to be quite a pair. Here we go. They brought White in motion, trying to take advantage of this one-on-one coverage. Actually, Rashad was open on the backside, but Kramer took a look at White all the way. He never went back to his second receiver.
White was a couple of years ahead of Doug Williams, but he says he caught Doug Williams' first college touchdown pass.
I bet his hands are still stinging.
Kramer still with the impressive stats. 14 out of 17. Going for the home run. White, the intended receiver, overthrown. And again, some fine coverage by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mark Cotney, number 33, back there with him every step of the way.
Well, these last 2 passes are an indication of what the people in Minnesota have been talking about Kramer. He's looking for one guide. That time Rashad was on a curl pattern, wide open in the middle, but Kramer going to White all the way rather than check his coverage.
Coming into this game, Kramer's statistics were just about identical to those of Fran Tarkenton at this time last year, and so was the Vikings' record. They were 4-4 at the halfway mark last year. Then they really poured it on coming down the stretch. Last year they had to come from behind and beat out the Green Bay Packers. This year, of course, it's Tampa Bay.
Well, Tampa now is covering the running backs on pass, but leaving the underneath areas open for the receivers.
Blitz is on. Look out. Kramer just does get it away. And Rashad, in this case, was open. But Kramer apparently was hurried a little bit too much by the safety blitz and couldn't get it to him.
Mark Cotney coming from the strong safety position. Well, this is the play previous with Rashad curling on the right side at about 14 yards. There he is. He had the time. He just shifted, didn't keep his feet. Rashad's got to come up with that catch, too. Should have had that ball.
Coleman back to do the punting, standing on the 2-yard line. Beautiful kick. A real sailor this time. Reese back at the 31, drops the ball. He got it back. Tampa Bay retains possession at the 31. Coleman got all of that one.
Who was that downfield? Number 49 for the Vikings. Great coverage. He was there. He almost had that ball.
Purple streak, Keith Nord, number 49, off the specialty unit, rookie from St. Cloud State.
There it is, 51-yard punt.
And Nord almost got there. Timeout. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Used to be when I had a job to do around the house, it was one-on-one. Me against the house. And since the house was much bigger, I usually lost. Well, I've just changed all that with my new Black & Decker Workmate. It'll hold just about anything I want to work on, from a door to a pipe to a 200-pound dresser. In fact, my Workmate is so good at helping me work, I'm giving it Sunday off.
Workmate's available from about $45.
If anyone looks forward to the start of a new day, it's a Big A Auto Parts store, because each new day is filled with challenging customer requests for quality parts and friendly service. Take yesterday, for example.
Got an oil filter for a Ferrari?
Do you hook the black one to the plus or minus?
I need heavy-duty shocks.
A muffler for a Merc.
Boy, have you got metric tools.
Quality parts, friendly service. That's Big A.
Have you got a cup of coffee? Sure.
The hard-working auto parts store.
Next Saturday, be with us for the first installment of the Battle of the NFL Cheerleaders on the CBS Sports Spectacular. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Well, you had the world's strongest men competition. Now you get the Battle of the NFL Cheerleaders. And I don't know if this youngster will be involved, but a lot more like her will. First week of the 6-week competition from Miami next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. First and $10 from the 30-yard line. They send Eckwood outside. Picks up 5 to the 35 before he's run out of bounds over on the far side. 9 minutes, 53 seconds left to play in the third period.
Well, that's the kind of play you try to bring your outside receiver down on the linebacker, create a hole and get a one-on-one block by a pulling guard or tackle on the corner. The Vikings were there.
Second down 5. Owens goes wide to the right side. Doug Williams right at 50% on the afternoon. Looks to the far side, and he's got a man wide open at Owens. And Owens almost spun out of a tackle, which could have sent him on the way to a touchdown. As it is, it's a first down at the 45 of Minnesota.
Good throw here by Williams. They doubled both outside receivers, but Hannon, the strong safety, was slow getting to his coverage. So they split the zone. Got by Nate Wright, and Hannon should have been over there in that zone, and he wasn't.
He's lucky that arm tackle caught him, too.
That's right.
Tampa on the move. They need a touchdown to tie, trailing 10-3 midway in the third period. Eckwood wrapped up behind the line. Scott Studwell, number 55, on the stop for Minnesota.
Well, he's been quite a player for the Vikings. He's filled in real well for Jeff Seaman. He's in there in the ball game now for Seaman.
Second down, 11 needed for the first down. Tampa Bay moving with the ball outside the Minnesota 45-yard line. Doug Williams played just 8 games last year, suffered that broken jaw, so he's just almost a rookie. In at quarterback, underthrowing that time Isaac Higgins.
Well, they had Marshall and Mulaney both in on Williams. He got smacked, but he got rid of the ball. Quick release.
Third and 11, and the Vikings go with their prevent as they send in an extra defensive back, John Turner, number 27. Fourth period score. Detroit has moved ahead of Buffalo, 17-13. Our score, Minnesota 10, Tampa 3. Williams under pressure from Marshall, rolls out of the pocket, throws it away. Fans responding. looking for an intentional grounding flag. There was none. I tell you, the old man did a job that time. Number 70, Jim Marshall, just all over the youngster.
Yeah, he was in there to play before. Sometimes you wonder if Williams is not too anxious to get rid of the ball. Even though he was run out of the pocket, he might have had a little more time if he'd have looked downfield.
Blanchard has not had a good afternoon kicking the football. Averaged a little better than 35 yards on his 2 punts so far. Edwards, the deep man. They'll try to keep it away from him. Over his head and into the end zone. Touchback. So the Vikings will bring it out to the 20-yard line and put it in play from there. With 8 minutes and 19 seconds left to play in the third period, we've got a timeout. No scoring yet in the second half of play. Only touchdown of the game scored by Stu Boyd on the throw from Tommy Kramer with just seconds left to play in the first half.
There are times when any investor needs security. Protection from the unknown. Low-risk investments with a solid return. We know where the best ones are because our strength, instinct, and resourcefulness is unmatched by any other investment firm. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Introducing the 1980 Ford Fairmont, the right idea for today.
Aren't you glad you bought a Fairmont? The right idea for today. Aren't you glad you bought a Fairmont?
Fairmont is the right idea for today with even higher 4-cylinder mileage than last year. And in 6s with 4-speed transmission, no car beats Fairmont's estimated MPG.
Aren't you glad you bought a Fairmont?
Glad, glad, glad.
The right idea for today.